Well, I guess it's time to give these APC upscales a go. From APC Toys, this is Angel Engine, essentially their redo and slight upscale of the Transformers Prime Arcee figure. You can see this is the comic version, no idea what that means. Up here on the top, we just have Angel Engine, I'm Angel Engine, Angel Engine. Oh, it's Angel Engine again, but upside down. There we go. Yay! The box is a bit strange, I will admit. It doesn't really look like a toy box, but, hey, let's actually open up and get a look at the figure, because I have been wanting a Prime Arcee for a very long time. All the official ones are insanely expensive, and, to be honest, don't have the best paint. Hopefully, this figure will be a good alternative. Hey, I just want to point out something weird about the box. So that's all comic, right? That's just an actual crosswalk. That's just an actual crosswalk somewhere. That's weird, right? When you get Arcee out of the box, they're actually packaged like how TFCC used to package their toys with the black styrofoam. Only thing is, they're like half transformed, I guess, to save space. It's a bit funky, but hey, I guess it's efficient. So guys, I want to make this part clear right now. This is, in essence, a stolen mold. It is just the first edition Prime Arcee. What ABC Toys has done is they've given it a better paint job, a more accurate paint job, as well as more accessories. They've tightened up some of the joints. This is what you might call a luxury knockoff. Not meant to be cheap, meant to be more collector-friendly, similar to what a lot of those Studio Series toys do from Black Mamba. So, when I praise the sculpt on this figure, I'll be praising Hasbro. When I praise proportions or transformation, I'm praising Hasbro and Takara. When I praise a paint job, though, or an accessory, it's probably APC Toys. Now, the reason I bring all this up is I know people have differing opinions about third party, about knockoff toys, all that other stuff. I'm just wanting to lay all that out right now because I don't want anyone to be confused, and in case there is anyone out there who might get some type of anger at this toy existing, I do think that there's enough changed here to where it's not just stealing a toy. It's taking the mold, absolutely, but it's also making it more affordable in a market in which it could thrive, but Hasbro's refusing to put out. Basically, the reason I'm okay with this is the same reason why I'm okay with us pirating old Nintendo games, which is, if the main company doesn't want to do it, you can do it this way, and at the very least, it's showing that there is interest in the market still. That's my PSA out of the way. Let's actually talk about the figure. Arcee is my favorite Autobot. Transformers Prime had my favorite version of Arcee. So having a nice figure of Prime Arcee has always been something I've wanted but never been able to have. I think this figure is amazing. The sculpting is perfect, the proportions are awesome, you have good articulation on the go. It is a wonderful figure. I think they captured the head sculpt very well. That said, I don't usually think of a smile when I think of this Arcee. I think more of a snarl, or dare I say, even a sense of depression. Seeing a happy Arcee from Prime is a bit strange, but at the same time, I guess I'd prefer this over Arcee crying from Night Terrors. So, pick your poison here, I guess. You also have a great amount of articulation on the go. You have a ball joint at the head that can go up and down using the transformation hinge, if you would like. You have a ball joint at the shoulder that also has a hinge up and down due to transformation. You have a double jointed elbow and an upper arm cut, and the wrist can go in and out. You do not have a waist swivel, at least, no, you do. There we are, waist swivel for transformation. You have a ball joint at the hip, an upper leg cut, an upper leg cut, though be careful because you can pop it out the joint. You have a very deep single knee, and then you have a little bit of action down here in the heel, but not much. The wheel does get a little bit in the way. That's a great suite of articulation. That's honestly comparable to modern Transformer articulation. And I think it says a lot that they were able to squeeze all that in on a motorcycle bot, which, typically speaking, motorcycle Transformers suffer for their vehicle mode. Using all those joints in tandem, you can get some amazing poses, which is great because this Arcee really was much more of a skilled acrobatic fighter. The only issue I personally have with the articulation is, at least on my figure, it's a little bit stiff in places, but when you play with it, transform it a few times, that should work itself out. It doesn't feel like anything's going to break. But I also want to point out now just how beautiful the paint is here. You have this slightly metallic blue, the pearlescent pink, you have the good silver throughout. it is a drop-dead gorgeous paint job, and it really does help make this Arcee stand out. But why don't we talk about some of those accessories now? First, we'll go over what the original toy would have come with, that being these very large arm blades. They're not accurate to Transformers Prime, but they're very toyetic, so I'm glad they're still here. But if you do want arm blades that are more show accurate, we do have these much smaller blades that will go over the arms. We also have 2 separate pistols. These are also very show accurate to Arcee's hand cannon inside the show. And then honestly, the single accessory that kind of surprised me the most was the alternate head that is pink. So there is an Angel engine that's pink, and that's because way back when there was a New York toy convention that also was a pink Arcee. It's cool that this is here. I don't know if I'm ever really going to use this, but hey, why don't we pop it on, see how it looks. Guys, I was very ill prepared for this. I just checked, you need a screw to get this head off. I'm in the middle of the move, I don't have my tool bag handy, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to swap out the heads. I will show you that that's what the head would look like on the shoulders. It's still a good head sculpt, it's just the pink. I don't think it really even matches the pink you see in other parts of the figure, but if you want the head, at least it's there. There's nothing wrong with options, even if they're not necessarily options I'd never see myself using. I'll tell you what options I really do enjoy though are the 2 different arm blades. So the bigger, more toy accurate one has a port here on the underarm. You can see that the blade is more circular, it goes into that port. It looks good. And then over here, the more show accurate one, they've actually designed a new port, a new plug-in that's more rectangular. It goes there. So you have the toy accurate, making it a little bit more bulky, but also a little bit cooler looking. Or you have the show accurate, that's a lot more sleek. That's great, and I love that they're using different ports, because that means if you want to, you can double up. Granted, it's going to look a little bit silly, but here, why don't we, boop. Alright, and then over here, we'll just put this one on, and boom. Now Arcee is just a knife tornado. There, who doesn't want to be a knife tornado these days? That just leaves the guns. So we have the gun here, right? And you can see it has the circle port. That means that we can put it down here under Arcee's arm. Oop, well. No, you can't. Wow, yeah, no, that's too big a port to go underneath. Can it go in on this side? No, it can't go in on that side either. Okay, well that's fine, because I wanted to show you this anyway. You take this port off, boop, now it's stuck, come on. There we go. And you get this, and it's the perfect size to just go over Arcee's hand and replace the hand like it does in the show. Oh, it was just doing this a second ago, come on. There we go. You gotta love how when you do things off camera, it works perfectly. You do things on camera, suddenly it's an issue. But there we go. It's supposed to replace the hand like that, which is what the guns did in the show. I like that. It looks good. I wish that the ports did work on the arms, but, you know, I would rather have the hand replacement anyway. At least that part of it works. From head to toe, I'd say this is a great Arcee. I really enjoy everything about it. My biggest complaint are those guns, but even they work. You do have a backpack, but again, I think the backpack works well. They made a way to make the kibble all kind of flow with itself. I really, really, really enjoy the figure here. I think it's one of a standout line. And I think that it shows that Hasbro Takara really did put a lot of great engineering into these Prime figures, even though there were some rough spots there in the early years. I'm really glad that APC Toys have made this figure more available to people, because if you're like me, you can't get an Arcee or a Soundwave or an Optimus for good prices anymore. They're just so outrageously expensive. And Hasbro doesn't seem to be interested in re-releasing any more figures than they've already done. So, yeah, I hope that they get to more figures, because I wouldn't mind having a Cliff Jumper this good. Now, usually this is where I would have a couple of good size comparisons for you guys. I've packed up most of the good ones, so why don't we see what I can scrounge up to give you a good idea as to how this figure might look on a shelf. Thankfully, I just bought some Prime figures the other day, and they haven't been packed away yet, so here is Arcee alongside Beast Hunter Soundwave and Rumble. I kind of like the scaling here, even though, to be fair, Arcee's should probably be shorter than both of them. Here she is alongside the Prime RID Hotshot, which would also give you an idea as to how tall she'd be against that Bumblebee. Yeah, scaling's way off here, but in terms of character, again, I think this works. Here she is alongside RID 2015 Strong Arm and the Studio Series Gamer Edition War for Cybertron Sideswipe. Maybe if you were doing like an aligned continuity shelf, these three could work together. That said, the aesthetics are very different across all three. Here she is with some modern deluxes, that being the Legacy Evolution Strong Arm and the Legacy United Chromia. I love both those figures. I don't think these three would work together on a modern shelf though, again because Arcee is just too much of a different design. And finally, here she is alongside some Legacy Prime characters, that being Knockout and Arcee. Knockout I think looks fine. I could actually put Knockout on a Prime shelf and kind of convince myself that that's fine. That Arcee though, don't get me wrong, I've come to peace with this Arcee, I like this Arcee, I think it's a good toy. But in terms of aesthetics, in terms of character, in terms of personality, yeah, there's no comparison, the original's so much better. Alright, you get it. I like the figure, I've gushed about it enough. Why don't we actually transform it and check out the motorcycle mode? That's a pretty decent motorcycle mode. Now I'm going to say this right now, the directions were terrible. Very bad directions. Thankfully, the figure's so intuitive that I was able to kind of figure it out by myself, and it gives you a good looking motorcycle, great shape shifting. There are a few things I would point out though, none of them bad. I like just how sharp and angular the figure is, I like how the paint is still here. Here's what I wasn't expecting was metallic paint on the actual hubcaps of the cycle, that was cool. Also, kickstand. Great for making the figure stand up. The only thing I'd say, even though I do like this motorcycle mode, I do actually think the Legacy Arcee has a better motorcycle mode. It's a little bit more accurate to the show, too. My only criticism, still a great figure, still a great looking motorcycle, just interesting to see that that seems to be where Hasbro had put its priority, was on this motorcycle mode. Let's get back to robot mode for closing thoughts. This is an awesome figure of Arcee. If you're able to get the original, it's going to be just as good a core experience. But if you would like a cheaper alternative that has better paint and more accessories, I think the APC Arcee, the Angel Engine if you will, is a great addition to a collection. And it makes me interested in what other figures APC have done. Most specifically, I think I need to check out their Arachnid now.